When our Constitution was created, it didn't give us a democracy, but it gave us a path to a democracy. The rights that we have today were fought for over the last 240 years. They were fought for during the civil rights era, the women's suffrage movement, different time periods. We had to fight and claw for those rights, and people died for them. So it doesn't make sense to look at the founding fathers and ask what would they have done. It makes a lot more sense to look at the past and the people who actually fought for more rights to expand democracy over the last 240 years and ask what they would want. The founding fathers just gave us a starting point. It's up to us to keep rewriting and expanding democracy to include more. But right now, what we're facing is a system where it's all getting clawed back unless we don't let it. You see, even if we somehow manage to get rid of Donald Trump tomorrow, the problem is still there. The authoritarianism is a lot like cancer. And so if we just get rid of Trump, we're essentially just getting rid of one of the big tumors that's already spread throughout the system. If Kamala Harris had won, we would still have the cancer to deal with. And arguably, it might not have been as easy to deal with as it is now because we wouldn't have seen it. We might have gone on thinking everything was normal. But now we can't ignore it. It's there. It's out in front of us. They're not even trying to hide it anymore. They're saying all the quiet parts out loud and violating the Constitution that they claim to care about right in front of our faces. See, we see and feel what we're experiencing right now. And we see the news and it's staying in our faces, all the awful things that are happening. That's it. That's what's happening. But what you're not seeing is how this is going to evolve over time. In time, these policies that are happening are going to have a very negative effect. And people are going to start feeling different. They're going to want something to join. They're going to want to get involved and stop what's happening. Jim Crow felt permanent until it wasn't. Nixon seemed like he would be all powerful until the day he resigned. Whether you're talking about apartheid, British rule in India, the Berlin Wall, all of these things seemed like they were just going to go on until suddenly they were over. And there will be a time that this will be over. But the only way that we actually make it end with something after that is much better that we want is if we keep pressure and momentum in that direction. So you cannot let it just be up to the politicians today to define that. We need a definition. We need pressure and continuous effort to show what we want as people to happen, and a movement that's pushing that, because the momentum will shift someday. By showing up to protests, even if it's small right now, you're encouraging others to do the same. It should be us defining what a democracy looks like, who's involved, all the rights that we should have had from the start, that the founders, if they were as forward thinking as we wish they were, would have written down in that document from the get-go instead of making us fight for it. See, our new birth of freedom needs to be us defining what those rights are right now. And too many people fought and died to give us the rights that we have. I'm fairly convinced that the solution to all of this has to end in a constitutional fix, some kind of a fix to the Constitution itself. Because if we go back and just get rid of Donald Trump and think that we're safe with the way things were, any election can change everything all over again. I know if you're watching this, you think that sounds absolutely impossible. Almost every amendment in our Constitution seemed impossible until it wasn't. Amendments are difficult things to get, but they happen in times of crisis. But this is a time where everybody needs to unite and fix our Constitution the way it should have been written all along.